Looking at the dollar, looks like we just crossed over the 34 on a daily. Little push, pretty good definite break across. So look for prices to come back into support as it got kind of rejected on previous lows. So previous lows here broke into and then into these previous lows and got rejected. So pretty good move, straight up right off of that reversal bar. Again, it came across the 8, came below the 8. Next day came back above the 8, came into support on the 8. Next day came across, and then the next day came back into the 13, came all the way up to a top, broke the top again into support, back and forth, and then pop right across the 34. Kind of the same kind of movements across those lines all the time, every time frame. So now it looks like we're hugging back into support somehow. Little back and forth, kind of broke down. Now we're hugging the 8 on the hourly. So looks like it's holding pretty good. Very slow move right into the support. Basically you want to hold 50% of the long green candle on that hourly. So take 50%, it's nearly back into previous breaks. So keep an eye on that. For the week, still coming into resistance. I got the 13 previous highs coming in at 101.50, so about 25 more cents, no problem. See what happens when it gets there. Going into resistance, you want to sell. It could hit resistance and just back off or consolidate under here for a while, whatever. But its natural course of return is resistance. So once it hits resistance, we'll see where we go from there. But right now, we got a huge 2-bar pattern on that weekly, so likely to keep going because now it's confirmed on the upside. So in the longer term sense of the move, you can see the break, previous high breaks all the way back down into support, and then now it's back above previous highs. So just a retracement back into support, that's all that was. So let's see if it can keep going. Looks like S&P, Dow, and NASDAQ both had a great day again. So I don't know which, is it all the sectors that are moving up? Because let's see here, let me get my charts right. So a huge break on previous highs. It's still going. Closing on its highs today. Look for an open at previous close, and watch out for double tops whenever this happens, when it closes on its highs. Could turn on a dime. You never know what's going to happen with these things. But right now they all look good. Closing on their highs, bullish as ever. Just watch for that double top on the daily. See how we open? I don't think we're open yet. But all three of them are good. Good. Going. Looks like crude's coming down. At or near its lows still. Looks like it broke previous lows. Broke its previous lows and came back into resistance. It broke down and came back in on the close. So that is your bearish retracement on a smaller level. So let's see what happens on, I was going to go intraday, but I won't see intraday on these charts. So we got support line coming in on the 13 in and around 54, another dollar down or so. So we'll see what happens. But it looks bearish from here. We got lower highs and we got a pattern forming and then higher lows. So we're in a pattern now. Below the 8, so weekly support has busted down. We got last lines of support at the 13, so see what happens when it hits the other side of this pattern. And it looks like it's going that way, so previous low breaks could hold there and still be inside the pattern. Previous low breaks could still hold the pattern at that low there. Other than that, it might break into previous highs down into the next support level, which is in and around 52. But a little lackluster breakout on crude. Never got to 60 like we planned months ago. Just a bunch of sideways action, and then it lost its gas right today. So let's see what happens. Coal looks like saved by the bell. Now we got a double top working. We're closed above the 8. Let's see if we can get some more action out of this. Now we're working with because we confirmed that candle going up. This candle closed above previous highs, so now we have a confirmation. And a higher low now. So we have an opposing point on the bottom. Still looks bearish. It's still got a hold. But we do have a double top with a higher low. Confirmed across the 8 today. Making this a 3-bar pattern bottom right here. And a double bottom. Double bottom there. So it's got to pop. If it pops up to the 34, it'll break previous highs here, and then that'll confirm a W bottom. A bigger double bottom. Saved by the bell on the daily. Still bearish on the weekly though. So it's still on a tether whether you like it or not. It's still got a lot of work to do. But pretty nice double bottom working from now. So I have to keep an eye on it. Needs to break into previous lows, as always. We got a long line of previous lows that it broke into. It looks like major resistance at 44. So let's see. We'll keep an eye on it. See where we go from here. TNX, 10-year bond, saved by the bell on that one too. Got rejected up here. Let's see if this will tap the other side over here. And if this turns around right here, doesn't touch the top of that trend, its natural course of return. If it doesn't touch there, I say double bearish on the downside. So let's see after tomorrow if it wants to tap the other side or confirm on the bottom, or this just takes a U-turn and confirms a previous low break. So fun to watch. It's inside the pattern still, but it didn't reach the other side of the pattern after all of these opposing points. And then this one misses the mark. I say that that's going to be a double bearish. So we'll see what happens after tomorrow. Oh, look at that whipsaw. This thing's fun. Remember that little head fake over here? Now we got another head fake over here. Did close above support, so is that the throwback still? Still wondering if it's a throwback, but it is a whipsaw for now, as long as it stays underneath the pattern downtrend. Whipsaw. Now this will come all the way down here and then whipsaw across here and then whipsaw, whipsaw, whipsaw. If that starts happening, all we do is change our trend lines because we have different opposing trends now, or opposing points. I'll just get all the way over here. Well, I guess if I change the line, maybe I had the line wrong. So let me just backtrack everything I just said and use the first opposing point for our trend, and I'll just double back and say it didn't meet its natural point of return from this double bottom. If I take the first opposing point and the opposing point here, and then I have an opposing point here, higher low here, so then we have a pattern. I might as well just make this a flat top. Alright, so for now, not a whipsaw. For now, I'm going to change it up. Say I have a double bottom working, gapped across, all lines of resistance, kept going, missed the mark, whipsawed across previous highs. So in another sense, it came double bottom, crossed over all lines of resistance and came back into support. So is this a double bearish or a double now again all confused. Is this a bullish retracement after the cross of the 34 into support? We'll see. Nice double bottom. That 2-bar pattern is still bearish, and we do have a whipsaw on previous highs. So let's see a continuation. Fill in the gap, whatever it needs to do. That 3-bar pattern is bearish, but anything can happen, as this came across all lines of resistance and now it came back into support and closed at support. So lots of ways to look at it. We'll have to see how it pans out. Looks like we're working a double top now on Shanghai. We've got a double top and a hanging man. So pretty easy to spot that. We've got a hanging man. It will confirm on the upside when the double top breaks. And when it does break, it'll have to fill this gap over here. And we got resistance again at 32.36. And then another resistance at 32.50. 32.45. So lots of resistance. Looks like it's being stopped. It's going to have to come down, gather its legs, make a pattern, and then pop. Right now we are working with a hanging man on a Shanghai composite. Gold. Gold pulled back into support. Had a better bounce earlier today, but came back in, bounced, came back in. We're working with a higher low. It came back into previous breaks, So the bullish retracement's in after the break. I would gather that this is going to gather its legs, or it has gathered its legs. Now it's going to move on up because it hit support and bounced. So I imagine getting these push-ups and then pullbacks, push-ups and then pullbacks, and then push-ups and then pull back and then break, something like that. Weekly. So it looks like the pullback is done. Tomorrow it's Wednesday. We still have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to keep this thing pumping. You can see the bounce now. Not out of the woods on a weekly basis yet. We need to confirm on the upside. Breaking the upside here will break into previous lows, and then we can travel on up that next range here. Silver looks better. I believe the last time I looked at it, looks like silver came back into support and then ran again today, and then came back in at the last half of the day, and now we opened so far up. I imagine this will come down into support a little bit. Stay above previous highs. But you know that push up, pull back, and then push up, and then pull back on the intraday. It's got good support on that 8. Follow the 8 all the way up on the daily. Weekly, it looks like it hit resistance and got rejected. So let's see if the last half of this week we can get over that 34. Copper busted out and came back into support. Then we got a falling star on the daily. Confirmed that falling star back into support, and it bounced and closed at previous highs. So we gotta stay above support, and it did it. It busted through, came back down into support, and bounced above previous highs. So the breakout's confirming still. This is a bullish retracement. GDX. GDX is just struggling with support still. On the weekly, looks like it got kind of rejected on the 34 so far. We need a continuation of last week's candle across the 34. But we had a slight break past the 34. Now it's back into support. We're working with a double bottom now. This bottom and that bottom. Two bar bottoms. Matching lows. GDX, same thing. Holding support a little bit better. Yeah. Came down into support, bounced one day, and then came through, and then bounced above. Closing above previous highs. Very nice. Good job, GDXJ. Looks like Nugget had a little struggle on the bounce, closing below the 8, closing below the previous highs. JNug. Oh, look at that. Look at that reversal bar on the close. Aside from the tiny wick It looks good to go. That is a hammer over the 8. Pretty nice. Look for previous high breaks, as that will break into previous lows. Make sure we get above previous highs and carry this momentum on up. That's a good momentum bar right there. Knocking out a bottom. That's what a hammer is for. A little Bitcoin. Looks like it's struggling to get back above resistance. Looks like I got rejected here a little bit, breaking in the previous lows. Just a tiny bit of rejection. It's inside that pattern. Get our momentum back on a daily, up and above 1030. And the weekly so far, it's kind of a steep line on that incline. I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of sliced on through that thin layer of support. The steeper the line, the less support. So I'm thinking either that line, if it has to come back down into support, I'm not saying that it's going to, but on a weekly, so far it's bounced off. Looks like 50% roll. No. Weekly's too hard to tell from here. Got a couple more days for the close. We'll see what happens. Follow the bouncing ball. So it came across into support, came above, came into support, failed, came back into resistance, or broke down, came above resistance, held resistance, broke down, back into resistance. Now it's trying again. See if momentum will carry. It's hugging that support line. Looks good. Too hard to tell on the weekly. CLF, good move today on the late day. Pretty nice. Let's see. Well, first of all, let's take a look at the monthly. Why is this thing breaking out? Well, it's completing a pattern. It came across at 34, previous high breaks. Came back into support, previous high support line. Bullish retracements in, now it's breaking previous highs, and it's breaking that triple top. They had a tweezer top on the monthly. Closed previous highs, previous highs, previous highs, broke all lines of resistance. Looks like it's at 50% of this green or red candle here. We got previous lows starting at 1350 on up. I'm thinking we can get to 1550 on this bad boy on a monthly basis. Maybe not this month, but it certainly broke across the 34, retraced back into support, bullish retrace confirmed on the upside break. You had the previous highs over here too that it broke. So it's breaking into the next previous lows, which was 1350 to 1450. So I think we got blue skies to next previous lows. Let's call it 1350. That is the mark. Once we get to 1350, let's see if it breaks in the previous lows into the next line of resistance. But that is why it broke out. Oops. Oh, that's the chart I was looking for. It's not PVG, it's CLF. That straight, no, I was referring to CLF. I was reminded of something else. Oh, now I'm really confused. That same pattern is happening across the board on some miners. So look for that one, that first pop, and then the consolidation into the pattern, and then pop. So you have a run up, and then you have that U, and then the first pop, and then the short consolidation right into the price pinch, and then pop. And now today we got a continuation. I think on the daily, I'm really confused where I saw that pattern first. But very nice break, very clean. You can see the perfect buy always. The perfect buy is that break and then come back into support real quick. Look at that inverted hammer doji. Right over the breakout. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Sweet. CLF has been really, really nice for the past year and a half. It's breaking the previous lows. Pretty nice. Good job, CLF. I imagine a continuation on CLF. Looks like AG still having trouble to get over the monthly 8, but it looks like it's gearing up pretty well. That's a bullish pattern getting ready. We got a 2-bar here, and then confirm that 2-bar pattern reversal right here. Confirm that on the upside, and you got a winner. That's a nice daily chart. Anybody watching AG? That's being primed and prepped right now for a breakout. That looks good. Held that 8, bounced right off of it. Confirm the previous high breaks, take a ride. That small breakout came back into support. Cracked the whip, and now it's gonna take liftoff, rocket style. AG looks good. That's a winner. Look at USLV, the 1-2 punch right over the support line. It broke previous highs, 1, back into support, 2, and then now the previous high break. This is in breakout mode already. It's the 1-2 punch over support. USLV, 3 times silver, long. What are you waiting for? Look at this left shoulder, right shoulder breaks, consolidates right over that 8 the whole time, never breaks that 8, and then all of a sudden decides, I can go higher. It's going to break out. That consolidation over the 8 was breaking in the previous lows. Now that we're coming into previous lows with a certain amount of confidence that we have support now, then it's going to break into previous ranges, and that looks pretty nice. Can't guarantee it's going to go all the way through that range in one punch, but I can say that it could reach the next line of resistance on the next punch. 1750. That's a good run. Remember, the break just started at 1430. Took a lot of patience to hang on in here, but never broke lines of support. Never, never, never. Now, so what did I say? 1750? Right where the resistance is. In and around the 34. That's nice. UREE. If you we spotted the bottom on this too, 2-bar pattern at the bottom, right? Broke previous highs, you're in. So Monday you should be in this thing already. We're waiting still to break across that that bottom. This whole bottom wave is going to break into the next price range, which is into, ooh, is that a triple? More like a double and a half. Nice. Look at that break. Beautiful break back into support. Just stair stepped, took forever. 2-bar pattern, broke previous highs, you're in. Take a ride on this. Let's break this balance point right here, where I take one low and then I take a opposing point high, and I take that line. That's my balance, and that'll confirm the bottom on this whole wave. So let's get over this point, close above it, a certain amount of confidence that we have support, and we can confirm that the bottom is in on UREE. Does that all make sense? Because, I mean, the daily even, we had a double bottom, we had an inverted hammer, 2-bar pattern, back across, held support, came back across, held the 8, back across, previous highs breaks, bam, came back into support already. So far for the, yeah, this is a mover. Watch for previous high breaks on UREE. Uranium's doing good. Previous high breaks on that bad boy. Even mine broke out today, but it came all the way back into support. So I need a bigger breakout than that. Was that 3 or 4% or something? No, it was 6% breakout. But longer term on UEC, you can see that breakout there. Previous high breaks, and I was in and around 70 when I broke previous highs here. So I've been having support for 2 weeks. I need a break. I want to break higher. You can see all the volume in on that that pattern too. I'm hoping for to get this thing up to 3 previous highs. Looks like I'm having trouble getting over these highs here at 2. So resistance at 2, hopefully it carries the 3. I don't know if I'll have patience for all that, but uranium seems to be pretty volatile this week. A pretty young chart for UEC. And I'd love to break that downward trend line from 2012. Come on. There we go. Let's get above 2, hold support. Yes, sirree. All right. Let's see. NAK. Just like NGD, came out with some bogus bad news, I think. Just on an intraday chart, you can see the double top that came in. And I mentioned it yesterday. I told you to be careful, but I don't think you had a chance on the open. You might have. I wasn't watching, but you can see that double top on the intraday. It had a what do you call it? Had a spike high, right? Came back down into support and popped again like a little U. The U was looking good, but it got stopped out. It didn't even reach previous highs. It had a nice day, and then the next, it had a spike high, a U, and then a spike high here, which was lower high. That was your first inclination that it's bearish. Second inclination is it opened a double top and then came back down to support, thinking, okay, yeah, it's just it's gathering its legs. Well, on the open it gapped down, And then once it broke previous lows, you should have gotten out. And within 15 points of support. With 3 o'clock high was our support. So I don't know, hopefully everyone didn't get caught up in the mess, but I saw the bottom holding 2 and pretty much mentioned to ride that back on up. But when it does that bounce and goes back into resistance, that's the bearish retracement, allowing for prices to keep going down. So just be careful. That is a huge double top. That candle that came afterwards, that is a huge bearish candle. Why is it bearish? It's because it's encompassing this whole top pattern. It's encompassing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks prior to that breakout. It came all the way back in, breaking all lines of support. And then once it broke all lines of support, and then the bearish retraces back into resistance, which is this previous top. So it's in bearish mode. That's the daily chart. Too much noise to see the longer term. That J curve has got to consolidate. It's not going to go up forever. I got lines of support over here at 2. So far it's holding 2. Be careful below 2. It is likely to come all the way back down into support. And they fall a lot faster than they go up. So, pretty good day for NAK though. I mean, I don't know even know what the bad news was. The day prior was the double top. So I don't care what news came out. The chart told the story before the news. I learned that a long time ago. Because I used to subscribe to those news services, try to get on top of it. Then someone pointed it out, said if you can't read a chart, you're going to be subject to the news. So, you got to read the chart. We had a double top, next day bad news. It's like lo and behold. The chart told the story before it happened. You can't say always and forever, but I don't know. Nowadays, I don't mess with the news because I think it's all lies. So there you go. Sorry about the NAK drop, and so did NGD too. But look at NGD on the monthly chart. It's recovering nicely. I mean, it is bearish retracing on the short term, but the long term is it came across the 34 and bullish retraced and made a lower high. And then now we might have on the close of this month a 2-bar pattern that is bullish. So NAK can do the same thing. Too soon to tell. Looks a little weak still on the downside for NGD. But it caught a bottom, saved by the bell. Crossed the 8 now, got rejected by the 13. So we'll see how this works out. It still needs an opposing point. We got 1 point, and then we might need another. So look for things to come back into support, as the 13 looks like it got rejected. BTG, let's see how we did today. Closing above. Looks like it's gaining steam. If it closes here on the week, we might have a bearish harami. So right now, the overall look for the week is bearish. But it's got to confirm. I think that's about it. Looks like silver is on the up and up, so is gold. PVG, wonder if I saw that. I'm not sure. It was on a daily chart. No, it was CLF. PVG still has that look, but I think I saw that chart pattern on CLF first. I don't know. Too many patterns. But that's it, guys. Appreciate all the comments. It's been a hectic few days, especially my new computer is really jittery. I think I might need a new modem. I'm not sure if something's taking up my bandwidth on my computer. Can't find it. But it took me over 4 hours to upload yesterday's video, and it took me 3 hours the day prior. So hopefully today it'll be a lot quicker than that, because that is a hell of a lot of time to just upload a video. It takes a lot of time to do that. But let me know what's going on out there. I'll see ya.